report to work, what type of instruction students will be doing during that time. And now that we're one-to-one, technology is our main purpose of utilizing NTID days. But through each section, we describe what will go on such days. Now, one thing that we've realized through this year is that we have remote learning days and we have NTID days, and how we can make them one and the same. So we're trying to be a little clearer, and that was information that we gathered from parents throughout the school year. So next year we hope that we'll have a little more clearer picture on what these days mean and how they'll be utilized. So what I am asking you all to do is to read through this, and if you have any questions or suggestions for me, to email me. As we do, the process that we have to go through before we can submit it to the State Department. Okay, and I included the calendar policy if you had any suggestions. As a reminder, last year we approved a 2-year calendar, so we've actually already approved our 22-23 calendar, and it's already listed on our website. So. Any questions for me about this?
Any questions from the board? No questions? No questions. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it over right now to Mr. Barnett, and he's going to introduce a plan that we have for a new possible program.
Okay.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Sachs. Back in July, Dr. Sachs got in touch with Mr. Cunningham and I about a meeting with Marshall Health, Mountain Health, and some of the other local entities that offer health care here and to try to address a shortage of medical assistants in the county. So Mr. Cunningham and I got together. I got in touch with the Department of Education to talk to them about what would be involved in offering a medical assisting program. We saw the opportunity there because they could share our current facility with the practical nursing students. We would just schedule it accordingly so the lab time would be conducive to have both groups use it. There are several different steps you have to follow when you are introducing an adult program. We have to get a permission from the Department of Ed. We have to get permission from the Council on Occupational Education. So both of those things have been done. They were done in early October. Mr. Cunningham and I went out to Boone County and visited their medical assisting program to take a look at that, to see how it was set up, the required materials, lab space, things of that nature, and everything fit. We were very conducive to be able to do that. I've been in touch with Garnett Career Center as well as Putnam County Career Center to see how their programs operated and what they do. This is a program that can be completed in a school year. It's one of those that makes students employable right away. It would require a 200-day position that's been requested and approved. The only thing we're waiting on right now to post is the amount of contact hours or clock hours that the teacher would have to have has in the process of changing, and the state board hasn't voted on it yet. A lot of when you get into a CTE position, most of the courses require that the potential teacher have either 8,000 clock hours, which is 4 years experience, or 4,000 clock hours, an associate's degree, or a bachelor's degree. So it has to be one of those separate things. So what they've tried to do is bring medical assisting up to the same standard as all the other programs. So they bumped that up from 4,000 hours to 8,000 clock hours. But that hasn't been voted on by the Department of Ed yet. That's supposed to happen either next week or the first meeting in May. At that point, we can go ahead and post. So, like I said, everything is ready to pull the trigger on this just as soon as we get clarification from the West Virginia Department of Ed, and we can get the ball rolling. Through ACE Advantage, we're actually able to offer half-price tuition to students, adult students coming in. It's a year-long program, and they could be taken care of right away. That's all I had.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
And this will begin this coming fall?
We're hoping to begin this in the fall, yes.
Excellent.
The other thing I would like to also add is that, through our meetings with Mountain Health and Marshall Health in this collaborative effort, this may just be the first of several different programs that we
Right.
try to offer that will meet their demand for, a skilled workforce.
Right.
Which they have indicated it is sometimes difficult to get applicants in these areas. And so trying to make sure that we're working with local industry to fill those employment voids and to make sure that our students have the skills necessary to be successful if this was a career path that they should choose.
Yes.
Something we're really excited to enter into really a new venture with Mountain Health. So it's
And
exciting.
we're real excited about it too. It's one of those situations to where, as far as the partnership, they have guaranteed us spots to place these students for clinical activities. They're working with us with any kind of supplies we would need. Of course, the all important one is job placement upon completion. So they're working with us there. So it's a very good program to start, and we're in a good spot. We're 100% out of room right now. Now that's going to be remedied in a couple of years, but right now we're busting at the seams. So both with adults and high school students, we're looking at next year. Just with high school students, we're talking about over 300 full day and about 160 half day students next year in our programs. We have waiting lists. So,
Madam President,
Yes.
let me ask you, this program, will it be limited to seniors?
this will be an
Right now.
adult program, this
Just
medical
adult?
assisting. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, they eliminate my next question, was
Yeah.
what was the required GPA?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, this will be an adult program.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Mrs. Kelly, does that conclude?
That concludes mine.
Okay. We'll move on then to operations and support. Mr. Hardesty?
Good evening, Madam President, board members, Dr. Sachs, Ms. Hornbuckle. Instead of a normal update today, I just really want to call the board's attention to two items that are on the agenda in the 3000 series. One is an agreement a purchase agreement for some land that is located right outside the edge of the city limits in Milton for a new Milton Elementary School. And I know that's something that we've been looking for a while. And the purchase agreement would allow Dr. Sachs to enter into that agreement and give us the opportunity for the next 60 days to do our due diligence to ensure that the land is suitable for a school. That will include a lot of different things as far as a survey, an appraisal, sampling of the land to make sure that we can house a school there. So that's one item on there, if anyone had any questions on that.
Any questions? No questions. Questions? No?
All right, the other one I want to bring your attention to is the second one under the 3000 series is over the past couple months or so, I've talked about the a request for proposals that we had out for an energy savings contract to try to do some work to some of those schools that are not on the current bond projects. And we went through that process. We had 3 companies that submitted proposals. We interviewed those. And what I'm bringing to you this evening is the successful company that we would like to enter into an agreement and allow her and Dr. Sachs to work on an agreement and a contract going forward, which will also be brought to you once that contract is complete. But that starts an audit process for those schools that are identified. And at this time, I'd like for Audra Blackwell with Energy Systems Groups, ESG, to come down, and she's going to give you an overview of ESG and what the energy savings contract would look like. Audra? Thank you very much. You can pull that down.
Good evening.
I just wanted to thank you all for an opportunity to speak with the Board of Education this evening.
I don't really need a microphone.
Yeah, well, we want to
I'm
get,
go-
we want to
I'm going
make
to
sure
step
we
back.
get you on the record, so.
Okay, Madam President, board members, Dr. Sachs, and council, thank you for this opportunity to speak with you this evening. Like he said, I'm Audra Blackwell, I'm West Virginia Business Development Manager for ESG. I've been working for ESG for almost 14 years now. Just to give you a little idea of my background, I have a chemical engineering degree and chemistry degree from WVU and an executive MBA from Marshall University. I do have a personal connection with Cabell County Schools that I would like to share with you. My parents actually decided to move forward with their education careers here in Cabell County Schools. My mom did her student teaching here in Cabell County Schools in 1971. My dad also did his student teaching here and came back to get his master's degree at Marshall University, taught fourth grade at Park Hills, and went on to be the longest serving superintendent in West Virginia history. So Cabell County is very important to me. So I just wanted to let you know that before I began. I want to talk to you a little bit about ESG. You guys should have these presentations there before you. We were founded over 27 years ago for the sole purpose of guaranteed energy savings performance contracting. It's all that we do. We're an accredited national energy services company. We also have the highest accreditation that can be received of an energy services provider. We have completed over $3.78 billion in performance contracting projects, and $1.5 billion of those performance contracts are from repeat business and satisfied customers. We're licensed to do business in 48 states, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico, and we're vendor independent, meaning we don't sell or represent any brands or products. So what is performance contracting? This is really the easy definition. It is an innovative construction approach where you go and modernize your energy infrastructure in your facilities. And through that modernization, you're going to see savings in your energy, maintenance, and operations in the county. And those savings is what will pay for your project in whole or in part over time with a savings guaranteed. So as part of the performance contract, this is a turnkey process. It's co-authored. We work with the county as a partner to develop the project, to get things done that you want to get done. And we're a trusted advisor in HVAC and other energy infrastructure improvements. We have accelerated construction timelines. We provide a firm fixed price with a guarantee of no change orders, and we will identify funding sources with no upfront costs. So it is a three-step process. The first step you have already completed, going through procurement. The second step is development, where we're going to be talking about the letter of intent for the investment grade audit. We're going to, you guys should have a letter of intent before you, and that letter of intent basically says that you intend to move forward with a contract. If you don't, if something unforeseen comes up, there is an exit fee. But if you do move forward with the contract, that cost will roll into the contract. So during the development phase, there's the investment grade audit, which develops the project, will secure financing, working with your municipal advisor, Mr. Eddie McCliney, and execute the performance contracting agreement.
Ms. Blackwell, I
Yes.
do apologize. And if you know my team well enough, they'll tell you I always stop you just as I apologize.
That's okay.
Can you explain what the audit really is, though? Because I don't know that I'm not sure it's fully understood what
Okay.
an audit is and what that means.
Okay. Yes, I will. Basically, the investment grade audit is an in-depth study of your facilities. So we're going to look at all the energy using devices in those facilities, such as your heating, ventilation, air conditioning, potentially how your controls work, those different things, your lighting, anything that can use energy. We're also going to look at ways that your facilities lose energy. So we're going to do the audit. When we do the audit, we actually bring back that information to the staff and we say, okay, here's the recommended improvements, and here's the cost, and here's the savings, and we help you prioritize those improvements throughout the county or throughout the 8 facilities that are involved in this project. And that's how you figure out exactly what you want to get done through the process. That answer your question? Okay. So back to the 3-step process: procurement, development, and delivery. Delivery is basically construction. To put it in layman's terms, it's just moving on to the construction of the project. So we complete design, construct, provide commissioning and training, and then measure and verify the savings. So this kind of also tells you the services that are involved, which was the first one, the energy and facilities auditing, project development, including engineering and design, project management, that is your construction, commissioning, training, operation and maintenance review, and measurement and verification. This is a turnkey project with single source of responsibility. It puts the responsibility on ESG's shoulders. So how do you pay for it? Basically, before the project, you have energy costs and maintenance costs. You can see that in the first pie graph. And then the next one is after the improvements are made. Your energy costs have gone down, your maintenance costs have gone down, and those savings is what pays for your project over time, and those are guaranteed. So ESG has completed over $1 billion in K-12 guaranteed energy savings performance contracts. We have a highly experienced and uniquely qualified team, and it's 40% of our business portfolio. You can see here as well that we've done a lot of work in the state of West Virginia. We've accomplished a lot. We have more performance contracts than any other company in the state of West Virginia. We've been working here for over 16 years. You can also see we have projects with multi-phase projects, and I'm going to show you a specific one to give you an idea of what's included here. This is an example of Harrison County Schools. Harrison County, we worked with them year in and year out. We worked with their superintendent, their operations department, their treasurer, and their Board of Education to meet their budget and meet their needs to get this work done in their county. So if we just focus on phase 1, phase 1 is a $6 million project. We did 19 schools of lighting improvements, 7 schools of HVAC, and say 10 schools of controls. That construction of that project was done within 9 months' time. That is a very quick construction process for that amount of work. So you can also see here that there is a quote from Dr. Manchin. He was the superintendent at the time. And Dr. Manchin, I can't say it better than him. He says, anything we realize in savings goes back to the students of Harrison County Schools, purchasing of new equipment, books, and computers. ESG has played a major role on helping Harrison County Schools realize those savings. Those savings are pumped right back into the school system. So these projects positively affect the learning environment, and based upon our history, we've exceeded our savings guarantee by 10%. So this can positively affect your budget, and you can pump those dollars back into the school system for other needs. So a typical project in West Virginia with the school district is HVAC upgrades, controls upgrades, LED lighting, new windows, new roofs, those types of things. There's approximately 30 energy conservation measures that can be implemented in a project such as this, but these are the ones that we see over and over again with our customers. Cosmetic upgrades, when you're going to do lighting, you may need suspended ceilings in some cases, so we can incorporate that. Also security upgrades, exterior lighting helps with security, locks, security systems, and a guarantee of reduced operating costs. The final scope of work is always determined in partnership with you. So what would a project look, or what would some of the possible energy conservation measures be working with Cabell County Schools? Again, LED lighting, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning with your schools that are on the list, the elementary schools that are in the RFP, and the central office, new automated control systems, building envelope, which goes back to roofing, windows, those kinds of things, water conservation, and we can even help you develop an energy policy that will garner even more savings. So with regard to the contract, ESG's contract has previously been approved successfully in West Virginia. It's been reviewed and approved by Bowles-Rice, most recently in February of 2022. Also reviewed and approved by the West Virginia State Board of Education. It meets all West Virginia statutes. Our contract specifies three things: the scope of work, the project cost with a guarantee of no change orders, and the guaranteed savings, which is what will help pay for your project. So what are the benefits? Basically, the benefits are an expedited turnkey project. We take care of everything from beginning to end. We're a trusted advisor on energy infrastructure. You can pay for these projects with multiple funding sources, including local, state, or federal funds, and the guaranteed energy and operational savings. So there's lots of flexibility. There's lots of different ways you can pay for these projects. They will also address your highest priority needs and deferred maintenance, and standardize equipment throughout the facility, such as your lighting and your controls, and address comfort issues, and overall positively improve the learning environment. So the next step basically is to consider the letter of intent. And once you have considered that, ESG and Cabell County Schools staff can work together to identify the specific energy conservation measures, and we can consider executing on a summer 2022 plan and a summer contract, depending on if we can pre-order the equipment and look at the timeline and see how quickly we can procure and get that needed equipment in. We still really have to assess that to see if that's possible. After that, complete the investment grade audit, and then bring a contract for the board's approval and move forward with construction. So pretty much that's all I have, and I would love to take any questions that you have.
Any questions from the board members?
Yes. Let me ask one. What's the number typically of schools you do in a county, like we're in Cabell County? How many schools usually fall up under this when you started? I know it's.
It depends on how the county wants to handle it. Just for instance, in Harrison County, we did all their schools. Because you're trying to collect savings over all the schools. So if you can upgrade, or you can do some energy conservation measures that are low cost but generate a high amount of savings, you might want to touch those schools for those items. So you may want to do all the schools, but it's really up to you how many schools you want to work on at a time. He has an answer for that.
Bishop Shaw, the reason we chose to do the schools that we did, those are the schools that are outside the bond projects.
Right.
And they are not any of our newer schools. And so we really eliminated the ones that are currently going through the bond and those that are recently renovated or recently constructed.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Madam President, if you would permit me, Ms. Blackwell, one of the things that you've talked about several times that I think would be also helpful, just to reiterate a little bit, is you talk about guaranteed savings. Can you explain what that guarantee really means? Like, could you give us an example of how ESG would guarantee the savings on a project for that they would do for us?
Okay. Basically, the guaranteed savings is really delineated in your contract. You will have a table, and it'll say exactly how many hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars is guaranteed. So what they're going to do is they're going to follow the international protocol for measurement and verification to verify those savings, and we will establish how much savings you can get out of the lighting, out of the HVAC. And the calculations for that will also be in your contract to prove to you, how we've done that kind of thing. But the main thing is in the contract you'll have an exhibit and it'll show you exactly year after year how much money you are guaranteed to get on your savings without really getting down into the weeds on the engineering side of it.
So what happens if we don't meet that guarantee?
Okay, if you don't meet the guarantee, or if ESG doesn't meet the savings guarantee, ESG will write you a check and make sure that you're made whole on the project. That is one thing I did forget to tell you, and thank you for bringing that up.
I think it's a big point.
That
so,
is a
yeah.
very big point, yes. So we do guarantee the savings. And one other thing I didn't mention to you is our parent company is over 150 years old. We're $33 billion in assets. So we can actually back the guarantee, and you can, have comfort in knowing that we can write you a check, and we do write checks. So if we miss it, you will be paid.
That it? Okay, thank you very much. It was a wonderful presentation. Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, well, moving right along, our next item on the agenda is communication from the superintendent, Dr. Sachs.
Thank you, board members and Madam President. I will try to be brief this evening. Wanted to let the board know that as we've discussed throughout the school year, we've been preparing for a 5-year strategic plan for our school district, and really that is so important because what that does is it takes a stake and it really moves it out 5 years, and it marks it in the ground and says, this is where our school district needs to be in 5 years, both academically but also holistically in meeting the academic needs of our students. And in order to get there, these are the strategies, these are the activities that we're going to do to get to that point in time, and to meet the goals that we've set forward as to where we will be as a school district in 5 years. And so this process is officially underway. We've been partnering with Hanover Research, which is a research-based company that the school district has utilized for several years. And so we're really excited to be able to begin this work with them. The first of 3 strategic planning committee workshops is complete. And it was a very rewarding exercise because we were able to work with district leaders, stakeholders, teachers, parents, to really hone in on this first stage. However, as a result of that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some additional members before the next meeting that really broadens the scope of the stakeholders so that we're getting as many representatives as possible. So again, students, parents, teachers, counselors, social workers, service personnel, business partners, educational partners, and school and district administrators are also going to be represented on this strategic planning committee. So it's a lot of work, and it's a lengthy process, but it's I think it's really, really important work to set the stage as to where we are moving to and what challenges and what barriers we have to overcome, but also how we can best utilize the assets that we currently have as a school district. This is also a very exciting week because the Cabell County Board of Education Prize Patrol will be hitting the roadways this week, specifically on Wednesday and Thursday, and they may be coming to a school near you. Of course, Prize Patrol is to recognize our 5 finalists for Teacher of the Year and our 5 finalists for Service Person of the Year. And so what I would challenge everyone to do is be monitoring social media, as there'll probably be some live feeds for surprises, but there'll also be some posts recognizing these 5 finalists for each category. As always, each Teacher and Service Person of the Year finalist will receive $500, and the actual winner for Service Personnel of the Year and the actual winner of Teacher of the Year will also receive an additional $500. So they'll get a total of $1,000. We have already been acquiring sponsors for this through the Cabell County Education Foundation. And so we're really, really excited about what this is going to be able to do this year, and how we're going to be able to host it now that we're on the other end of the COVID pandemic too, because we'll be able to really do a wonderful celebration. Also this week, I was fortunate enough to be able to go and attend the Regional Math Field Day, where our students in Cabell County competed against students from Lincoln, Logan, Mason, Mingo, and Wayne County, as well as private schools. And I am so happy to report that Cabell County swept the Region 2 Math Field Day competition, earning first place in every category of elementary, middle, and high school. And so we are so happy and proud of our students, as well as our teachers who prepared our students for the Regional Math Field Day. And of course, these students move on to the state level competition. And of course, we will also be recognizing these students at a board meeting coming soon. So again, congratulations to those students. Madam President and board members, that does conclude my superintendent's update for today.
Okay, thank you. It was a good report. Our next item on the agenda is delegations to be heard. And before we do that,
Thank you.
I do want to say that the board, the school recognizes the value of public comment and on educational, financial, administrative, and other issues related to board work. The board therefore provides a period for public participation at every meeting of the board and publishes rules to govern such participation in board meetings. Comments by members of the public meetings shall be limited to agenda items only. Public comment is not an open forum to attack individuals, school system employees, board members. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to address the board. This is a business meeting of the school board. The board appreciates the public's input and will listen attentively and consider each comment, but will not respond, debate, or answer questions during the comments on the agenda items or during the public comment sections. When you're called to come forward, please state your name, address, and group affiliation if you have one, if it's appropriate, for the record. So having said that, Dr. Sachs, are there any delegations?
Yes, ma'am. The first is Bonnie Hughes.
Hi, my name is Bonnie Hughes. I go to Huntington East Middle School, and I live on 201 Seneca Road. I am an 8th grader, and I am president of RAISE, National Junior Honor Society, and Student Council. I know that some of you are aware of what happened on HEMS on Friday, April 1st at 12:30 p.m. Ms. Perry, our principal, called all of the girls in the school.
Ms. Hughes, I hate to interrupt you, sweetie, and I'm very proud that you are speaking, but when
We
we're
can't
speaking,
use
I'm
any
sorry.
names.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry. She called us to they called us to the cafeteria to talk about the dress code, and once we got in there, they told us not to wear pajamas, crop tops, or ripped jeans, or show our shoulders. After that, they told us that they do not want boys to be distracted by our clothes, and they said that if we get touched inappropriately while we were wearing these clothes, not to tell the school because they won't do anything. I'm worried because this person is making some of these girls think that it is their fault for being touched inappropriately or assaulted. Victim blaming is harmful for many young girls. On behalf of my friend, I'm going to read what this person told me, that this person was screaming at somebody because they were a transgender male and that they said that they will never be a male no matter what they did to their body. We are filing a 7211 policy and expecting to hand it in soon. Thank you.
Abigail Thompson.
My name is Abigail Thompson, and I live at. My name is Abigail Thompson, and I live at 20 Mohawk Trail, and I'm an 8th grader at HEMS, and I would also like to address what happened on Friday, April 1st. We were all brought to the cafeteria by administration to have a conversation about the dress code, and instead of just telling us what not to wear and what's against the dress code, They said that girls were trying to gain attention from boys and that boys were going to touch us and they were going to joke about touching us. And then she made a comment at the end saying that if something did happen while we were wearing those clothes, she didn't even want us to tell her about it. This infuriates me because she told a group, the entire school of middle grade girls, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, 11 through 14-year-old girls, that because of what they were wearing, boys were going to touch them, and that she didn't want to know about it if it happened. School should be a place where students feel safe and have adults they can trust to talk about serious issues with, and instead she made it feel unsafe and told us not to report if something serious like this happened to us. Thank you.
Michaela Smith.
My name is Michaela Smith. I live on 18. I live at 11th Avenue. I go to Huntington High, and I'm basically I just want to speak on just our basketball season and just women athletes in general. To be a woman and go to school is already hard enough, but to be an athlete on top of that and have to just go through everyday things is even harder. We keep our grades up. We have girls that get 4.4s, 4.3s, grades that you usually don't hear of and stuff. So it's already hard enough to focus on grades, make the grades to play, and then to play the sport that we love, to win all year except for one game. I'm pretty sure we went, 40 some? What was the thing? 40-something, yeah. 24. No, but for 2 years we went, yeah. 40-something and 2 for 2 years straight. And then to go to state championship, win the state championship, come back the next day and have no love, like that just, it doesn't feel right. It kind of makes you sad, kind of makes you like, dang, we worked this hard and no one showed any love or support to us throughout the whole year. We had bare minimum fans show up. We didn't have our games to broadcast this whole year. The boys had their games broadcast at almost every single game. We had one game where we had a broadcast, and it was because the boys played right in front of us. We didn't have any type of speaker. We had to have a parent speak for our games and announce us. Like, that's not her job. Her job is to come watch her kid play. Her job isn't to have to announce the kids that are playing. Even though I know she loved doing it, it's still not what she was supposed to do. She's supposed to be there and watch the game. Our bus, like we wanted a student bus, and me and one of my teammates had to write down that we wanted the bus, and had, instead of having our principal or a staff member, so I can't say names, a staff member write something down and be like, hey, we have a bus for you guys, for students to come up and watch the games. We had to do it ourselves, because they basically was like, well, if you want this, you have to do it. They did the same thing for our celebration. My aunt called the school, said, hey, these girls just won the state, not once but twice in a row, and they came back to school the next day and nothing happened. They were basically like, okay, well, if y'all plan something, then yeah, we have to plan our own celebration, and we shouldn't have to do that. My mom and other people had to plan our own celebration, and that's not their job to do. So I just feel like if there was more effort from our community and stuff, and just from our school, more people would want to, play sports and try and, just go out and do what they love to do. It's kind of hard to do what you love to do when nobody else is supporting you. Yeah, I'm done.
Amara Jackson.
My name's Amara Jackson. I live at 1844 Enzo Boulevard. I am a sophomore at Huntington High, and I'm going to be speaking on the same thing as Michaela. So first, I just want to say thank you for everyone for gathering here today to celebrate with us. The celebration is a bit bittersweet. We have won back-to-back state titles, being one of only 12 teams to ever do this, and the only Huntington High girls basketball team to do it. Class Quad A has only been around for 2 years. We're the only team to ever win it. Even with all these accomplishments, our congratulations fall short. As some of you may know, on the Monday after our state championship, we weren't congratulated. It wasn't until we complained and a teacher went down and announced that we had won. This mistake was fixed and apologized for, but all the love shown after feels fake. We shouldn't have to ask someone to tell us congratulations. nor should we have to set up our own celebration party because that takes the sincerity out of it. It's not just the school that doesn't show us support either, but the community and the city in general. There have been many games, home games, that I have looked in the stands and the only people I see are family members. Yes, we play for ourselves, but the name we have across our jersey is Huntington. Everyone we play, everywhere we go, we represent Huntington. This year and even last, we did this proudly. I love Huntington, but it's getting hard to love a city that doesn't love you back. How easy would it have been for any of us to go to a different school, but we chose to go to Huntington. It's not just the basketball team that doesn't get support, but the girls' teams in general. I bet most of you don't even know our girls' tennis team won states last year. We need to do better as a community in our school to show our support equally to all sports. If it was raining outside, some of you all would take your coats off and lay it over a puddle for any boys team to walk over, but y'all wouldn't even share your umbrellas with us. I want to be proud of where I come from. When I get out of Huntington, I want to be able to come back, but why would I come back to a city that could care less about me, to a city that doesn't love me? Have any of you ever felt unappreciated? Well, let me tell you, it sucks. It's one of the worst feelings to ever have. That's why I'm up here today, to hopefully make a change. I don't want any other young girls to grow up feeling unappreciated.
Jada Turner? You sure? Okay. Lacey Smith?
Hi, I'm Lacey Smith. I go to Huntington High School. I'm passing my minutes on to my sister, Michaela Smith.
No.
I'm speaking on behalf of our coach, Whitney. She wasn't able to make it here today. She had surgery on her tonsils, I think, so she just wanted to speak out on this topic. First, I want to apologize that I could not attend this meeting. Although I'm not physically here to speak, I hope my words are still felt. My name is Whitney Bays. Before I was a coach, I started playing basketball in 2001 for Meadows Elementary girls team. My first game was at the Boys and Girls Club in Wyandotte. I ended up playing collegiately and then professionally until I officially retired from basketball this past fall in 2021. I have lived and seen the evolution of women's basketball on all levels. There have been tremendous advances for women's and girls who have played. While we should celebrate these improvements and how far the women's game has come, we should still be open to conversations that are needed to continually evolve the sport, especially in this area. I'll start by putting this team in perspective. We'll skip that word. And by saying that they are historic. They are the only girls team to win back-to-back state titles. They are the first and only team, boys or girls, to win back-to-back championships at the 4A division. In 2 seasons, they have only lost 2 games for a combined record of 40-2. Throughout the season, I was constantly asked when our games were and who we played against. People were asking me so often. I began posting our schedule, and when I posted my schedule on my own personal business accounts on all over social media outlets. While I was happy people wanted to watch our games, when I was happy people wanted to watch our games, I was also sad they were not being promoted by the school or local news and media outlets. It became apparent to me that our games were not easily accessible online for the public, as well as recaps of all of our games to see who we played or if we won. At every game, the majority of our support came from their parents, to whom credit should also be given to. Unfortunately, the reality of the situation is that not many people in the community never ever knew we played. 40-2 is impressive, but it's even more impressive when every game feels away. I know COVID has affected the school systems, and dang, was that the timer?
We'll give you a minute, give you another minute to wrap it up.
All right, I'll read faster. I guess I won't read that last. I'll just skip to the end. That's what really nice. I leave you with this final thought. I recently went back to Guyandotte Boys and Girls Club to help a friend that needed me officiate the games for a couple weekends, the same place I started back in 2001. I was extremely excited to see the future of girls basketball in this area, but was quickly disheartened when I noticed there were no more girls teams, just 1 or 2 girls that played on boys teams. Out of the few girls that didn't play, only 1 or 2 were black. While I agree playing against or with boys can help evaluate a girl's game, when they were younger, when I asked some of the coaches, they told me that there were not many girls that wanted to try out or play. This is concerning to me that less girls are trying to play this. I already read that part. Play basketball at a young age in this area than when I started playing back in 2001, especially amongst minorities like myself. This is another example of why it's important that women's basketball and this championship team gets notice that they deserve. And I won't read that since that was definitely more than a minute.
Amaya Smith?
No, thank you.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Jill LaFleur? I'm sorry, LaFleur? Did I say that correctly? LaFleur. Okay, I apologize. All right.
Navy blue corduroy pants, a t-shirt, a thick wool sweater, brown leather belt with a brass buckle, and brown leather combat boots. That is what I was wearing the night that I was raped. Navy blue corduroy pants that were a little bit too big, not even tight. A t-shirt and a thick wool sweater on November 15th, 1997. It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter what you wear. What you wear does not tell a boy that he can or cannot. You want things to change and you mean it? Do something. You know what you need to do. This is completely wrong. And I lack respect for anyone who refuses to make a change. And rightfully so. Navy blue corduroy pants, a thick wool sweater with a t-shirt underneath, brown leather combat boots, and a brown leather belt with a brass buckle. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. Teach our children to learn and respect boundaries, to learn and respect other people. That's what makes a change. Your clothes do not.
Good evening. Thank you all for hearing us tonight. My name is Sharon Pressman. I live on Washington Boulevard in Huntington. Both of my children are graduates of Huntington elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. And I've always been very proud of what we do with our children in Huntington. What I do currently is I'm the executive director for Contact Rape Crisis Center. We've been in existence for 52 years in Huntington and Cabell County. Our main office, I've worked with Sharon on various boards and cases and things over the years, and we provide free and confidential services to survivors of sexual assault, stalking, and human trafficking. We have 12 employees in our Huntington office, advocates and prevention education personnel. I'm not here to talk about our services to survivors tonight, although we have that. I'm going to leave some brochures and some of my cards here for everyone who would like to talk about being a survivor. I want to thank Jill for the courage that it took for her to come up here tonight and tell you what she did. We hear that story multiple times every day. What I do want to offer you, the Cabell County Board of Education, is a way to prevent our children from being sexually assaulted, whether it's in school, whether it's at home, whether it's on the athletic field, wherever they might be. Our services include free prevention education services. I have with me tonight LaShonda Andrews. She is our prevention educator. We can work with training your staff. We can work with training you. We can work with the children directly. We can work in the schools. We can work on the athletic fields. We can work wherever you need us to help prevent our children from being assaulted and abused. I'm going to let LaShonda tell you about some of the curriculum and some of the programs that she actually can offer you. LaShonda?
Good evening. I'm LaShonda. I live at 1024 22nd Street in Huntington. I also went to all the schools in Cabell County, so I'm very familiar with the community. And I'm glad I'm working at Contact because I want to help my community and the kids going to the school now. So some of the things that we do have is Mind Matters, and that's coping skills that work with children when they are stressed, upset, or angry. It teaches how to practice self-care and control environments. It teaches about trauma and how it affects the brain, setting personal boundaries, and also safe adults and support systems. Right now, I teach Mind Matters with another person, and we teach it in Mason County. We go twice a week for an hour, and from the first time I've been there to until now, I can tell a difference with these students, and they look forward to us coming every week, and they're using what we teach them in this class. So, and then another one we teach is Relationship Smart, what I think is very, very healthy relationships. It recognizes red flags and violence in dating relationships and how to remove themselves from their situation safely. It also teaches healthy sexual development, consent, and body autonomy. So I would love if y'all would just let us into the classrooms so that way we can definitely educate and help other kids. Thank you.
One other program that we offer that's excellent for your staff, we can train your staff in, it's called Stop It Now, and it teaches them how to work with the students, how to listen to students, how to provide safe environments for students, and how to be a safe person for the students when they need help. So that's something we can offer the staff, counselors, teachers, principals, and you all if you're interested. Thank you for your time tonight.
Lauren Hensley.
Good evening, board members. My name is Lauren Hensley. I live on First Avenue in Highlawn. I am one of the Board of Education candidates for the upcoming election, and I also have a stepchild who attends Huntington East Middle School. Before I get started on what happened at Huntington East, I just wanted to congratulate your all's basketball team. That is really awesome, and I'm so sorry that it wasn't publicized more, but what you all did was awesome. I'm speaking tonight about the situation that occurred at Huntington East Middle School on Friday. the middle school students there were exposed to one of the most common examples of victim blaming, when someone asks, "What were you wearing?" instead of placing the blame rightfully on the perpetrator. School staff are responsible not only for the education of their students, but also for their social, emotional, and physical health and safety. As a school counselor, I was highly disheartened to hear that so many students may now feel discouraged from sharing their hurt, pain, or experiences because they feel as though they are going to be judged, ignored, or even blamed. I hope that these students know that there are school staff members who care for them, support them, and are willing to listen to whatever they're going through. I want to finish with a quote from Alex L. "You're not a victim for sharing your story. You are a survivor setting the world on fire with your truth, and you never know who needs your light, your warmth, and your raging courage." Thank you.
Mary Beth Smith.
I too do not need a microphone, but relish anytime I can get one.
Could you give us your address, please?
My name is Mary Beth Smith. I live at 3140 Ferguson Road, and I will go ahead and tell you that I'm emotional. I was sitting back there because what I want to talk to you about is what happened with the late lockdown. I've had 2 times that I've had to put up with an active shooter. I'd like to tell you the first time was when my daughter was in the 4th grade when a school administrator pulled her and 2 other black children and asked them if they wanted to be the active shooters in their practice and their protocol that they were doing. Now that is wrong on so many levels, and since that has been taken care of, and I thought I'm never gonna have to worry about an issue with that again. Until the other day, at 7:32 in the morning, I'm sitting in line with my daughter. I'm about 300 yards from Randy at the guard shack, who, by the way, is amazing. Sorry to have said his name. When I see the police officers flying up the hill. Now, I don't know about you, but to see police officers flying up the hill and to know that behind me, almost an entire mile, because it's a mile walk from the, or drive, from the bottom of that hill all the way up to the top, to see vehicles continuing to come up and leave that building. So at 7:32, I'm sitting there and I looked at Amaya and I laughed because we were laughing. She may or may not have been on time for school that day at her mother's fault. And then I looked at her, I was like, "You're not going to school." So I tried to contact people that I knew that worked in the school, and I'm like, "What is going on? Is this just something, is this a drill? What are you talking about?" We see kids coming in and out of this building. We're seeing parents drop them off. For 32 minutes at least, because the media reports that at 8:02, I can assure you that an all clear and closing that school down did not happen at 8:02, because we, as the mother of these girls on this basketball team, remain in close contact. It was not until 8:04 when the girls text all of us saying, "We're now in lockdown." So from 7:32 to 8:04, and I don't care what this is not accusatory, I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says. My iPhone time does not lie. You judge the children based off of those times when it comes to getting to school on time. So that is an accurate time. From 7:32 until 8:04, they continued to allow parents to drive up the hill, to drive back down the hill. They continued to have buses drop off kids with assault rifles. And you can say it did not happen. I know that it was. Thank you.
Norma Denning.
Hello, I'm Norma Denning, 184 Bradley Foster Road. I feel very strongly about the situation at Huntington East Middle School that occurred last Friday that I went and dug out my Volunteers in Mission teal shirt to show support, and after I arrived here, I decided I needed to speak. It's my understanding that teachers, administrators, all employees at schools, and other professionals dealing with children are to report any situation of abuse of any type to the proper authorities when they learn of it. On Friday, that door was slammed shut to those children. Because when you come to school often, as a wee little kid, kindergarten, all the way through high school, you often confide in someone at the school if you have a problem or if you've seen a problem. They confide in a counselor maybe, a teacher, some other employee, or another student who may then go and say, hey, so-and-so, my friend is having a problem. That door has been slammed shut on the children of Huntington East Middle School. Thank you.
Allie Lehman.
Hello, my name is Allie Lehman. I live at 2957 4th Avenue, right around the corner. I'm a daughter of 2 retired educators that taught in this building and also taught at Huntington High. I'm also the president and founding member of Huntington Pride, and I wanted to tell you all and everyone here about an event that is happening on April 16th. It is West Virginia's first LGBTQ teen and young adult and their allies resource event. Huntington Pride, in collaboration with Branch's Domestic Violence Shelter and the Cabell County STOP team, are very excited to announce West Virginia's first teen and young adult and their allies resource event. This is a brand new event to highlight health and safety resources, as well as provide safe and family-friendly fun for LGBTQ teens and young adults, including we're going to have a DJ, photo booth, and different fun activities. We are also going to be hosting presentations for educational purposes. I would love for you all or any teachers, parents, anyone who would like to attend. Mayor Williams will be there to kick off the event at 12:15. The center will have a presentation on LGBTQ homelessness. Branch's Domestic Violence Shelter will talk about positive teen dating relationships. The ACLU will be there to speak on LGBTQ teen rights in the classroom. Dr. Sidney McRoy will speak on LGBTQ health, and Rosemary Ketchum will be there doing a state of the state and inspiring our LGBTQ youth of the future. I'm also alum of Huntington High, and congratulations, girls. It's really awesome. So anybody that would love to come to this event, I have flyers with me. If you all have any questions, I'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you.
Deanna Gray.
Hi, I'm Deanna Gray. Oh, sorry. I attend Huntington High School. I'm a senior. I live on 60 Derby Lane. I'm speaking on behalf of Riri Vikram, a former Marshall basketball player and retired professional overseas basketball player. Throughout my entire basketball career, there's been lack of support in women's basketball and women's sports in general, as if we are not important. I've been in Huntington, West Virginia for 10 years, and the support in the town is very disgusting. From youth league to college, there's no support, no advertisements, no congratulations, no good luck, nothing. Marshall's softball team won a championship years ago. The acknowledgement was little to none. Marshall women's basketball made it to the WNIT in 2016, first ever in school history, and no acknowledgement. But most importantly, you have a girls' high school team that has won a championship for your town back to back, and they were treated as if it was nothing. Us women deserve to be treated with respect. You all need to do better and show support just like you do the men's. Change has to start somewhere. Why not start with you? With the utmost respect, we deserve better. Thank you.
Olivia McMillian.
Hello, my name is Olivia McMillan, and I go to Huntington East Middle School. I'm in 8th grade, and I live on 1764 Arlington Boulevard. With everything that happened on April 1st was very disheartening, and it made me very upset to see how somebody who I really trusted and kind of looked up to as a principal would kind of shut us down, and knowing that could happen to so many different people, and it really makes me upset, and I really don't want so many girls under my age. I don't want them to have to deal with everybody telling them no just because they're female. We all deserve better, just it should be equal. It doesn't, yeah, thank you.
Madam President, that concludes who signed up. Do you want to see if there's anybody else?
Is there anybody here that didn't sign up that wants to speak? Yes, back here.
And when you come up, just if you can, say your name slowly so I can make sure I enter it into the record. Thank you.
Yeah, you can take your, yeah.
Hi, my name is Sydney Scarberry. I live on 20th Street, just down the road, and I'm a Marshall student. I'm an education major. I didn't know if I was going to speak or not because I was afraid of repercussions due to my major, but I decided to. Whenever I was 15, I was sexually assaulted. The people in this room are the first to know outside of my therapist and outside of a teacher that I went to high school with. My parents don't even know. So whenever I heard that a mandated reporter told students that I care about, that I look up to a lot, knowing that they're the first students I've really interacted with as a clinical student, that they shouldn't come to her because she's not going to do anything about it. It really hit home. Whenever I was 15, I didn't tell anybody. I still haven't told my parents, but I did tell a teacher because she was the person that I trusted the most, and she was the person that I knew I could go to for anything. And I really want to be that type of teacher, and I think that should be across all boards, across all counties, across the nation. And I'm disappointed. Thank you.
Was there another one in the back?
Hello, my name is Marissa Moore, and I live at 4031.
You're going to have to speak in the microphone.
I just want to make sure I get your name.
Okay, Marissa Moore.
Address?
4031 Fort Bowl Road, Huntington, West Virginia. My daughter is a student at Huntington East Middle School. I'm very sorry for the girls that this has happened to. Thursday morning, an educator, a person in power, a woman in power, told my daughter that it didn't matter what somebody said to her, and it did matter because my daughter is a sexual assault victim. She cussed out a little boy in the breakfast line because he mentioned her case to her that is pending with her father. She did not care enough to ask my daughter why she cussed out this little boy. It was just whatever. She came into the office when I was there over a different situation Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon because my daughter was being bullied by other students. And she wanted to tell me that my daughter used profound language, but she didn't ask her why. As a mother, as somebody who deals every day with a teenager that was sexually assaulted, I am so mad at this woman. I am so mad at our school system because we are failing these kids We are failing them. We are failing these little girls not to speak up and not to say anything. It is unacceptable. It is unprofessional. And she will be removed from the school this year. At the end of the school year, she will be removed from Huntington East because of the incidents that have occurred. And I had a meeting, was it Monday afternoon, with her teachers. All her teachers know, her principals know what has happened. They got it. They got the DVP and everything. There is no reason that my daughter should keep her mouth shut because somebody brought up the case and she cussed them out. There is no reason that that woman should not have took what my daughter was saying into consideration. There's no reason she shouldn't ask her, and it's her job. It's her job to do that. It's her job to find out why she's acting this way when she told me herself that she does not. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jack Jarvis, and I'm the Communications Director for Fairness West Virginia. I live at 1529 Lee Street East, but I grew up here in Huntington over in the Highland area. I want to echo what so many folks have said here tonight about the importance of believing victims. I'm so in awe of all the students here who have spoken out. I know how nervous how scary this can be to speak to a board, so you should be very proud that there are students who are willing to share their truth. I also just want to briefly touch on something that I frankly don't know a ton about. I don't know about what happened at the middle school. I have heard some very concerning things about language being used about transgender students. And I just want to remind folks that it is our job to not only prepare students to enter the workforce, but it's also our job to protect and support students so that they are safe in our schools. Unfortunately, what I've heard wasn't particularly surprising. We did a survey of educators at my organization. We're an LGBTQ advocacy group, and we found that 70% of teachers who took our survey said they've never received any type of training on how to support LGBTQ students, what language they should use, ways they could make inclusive classrooms. So most of our teachers aren't getting that information, and that is resulting in some really horrific disparities. We have some of the highest rates of LGBTQ harassment in our students. We're the 7th highest in the nation. 14% of students who came to West Virginia schools, so high school students, said that they were threatened with a weapon on school campus. These are LGBTQ students. So these are really serious issues, and it concerns me when I hear about transgender students and administrators using language that is not very inclusive. Fortunately, though, we can do something about this. If there is a single adult in a young LGBTQ person's life, they are 40% less likely to attempt suicide. One supportive person in their life. And I know that there are plenty of those one supportive adults in our school system. I found mine at Huntington High, and I hope that we can inspire more teachers to be that one person. We also offer a ton of trainings like Contact. We stand ready to help in any way that we can improve the situation. Thank you.
My name is Jonah Hughes. I live at 103 Ricketts Road in Huntington. My children and my husband and myself all went through Cabell County Schools. I volunteered at Cabell County Schools for many years, including the great Gallagher Elementary, which we miss. But my granddaughter sent you a letter. I'm emotional too, and I don't get emotional very often. I think that Mr. Sachs, my granddaughter, sent you a letter. She was 17 when she was sexually assaulted by a friend. She had on 2 shirts, a sweatshirt, a coat, 2 pairs of leggings, a pair of jeans, 2 pairs of socks, boots, a hat, a gloves, and scarf. And she was attacked by a fellow student. She had the courage to stand up and press charges against this student in hopes that he would not do this again, in hopes that others would learn from his mistakes, and that girls would say, it's okay to tell people. You need to tell people. And here we have a principal of a school telling every girl in that school it's not okay to tell people.
She's moved on. Okay.
What kind of message are we sending to these students? It is not a safe school. Dr. Sachs, you said this evening, you learn from your mistakes. I think that most of us do. I don't think that this particular administrator has learned from mistakes of inappropriate conduct regarding students. I'm not sure that that's her desire. I don't know. I don't know her personally. If she was in this room, I wouldn't know who she was. Ms. Neely, you said this evening, our job is to protect our children. That school is not protecting our children, and that is our main responsibility as parents, grandparents, and as the Board of Education members. And I hope that you will give strong consideration to what's going on at that school and help put a stop to it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that didn't sign up that wants to speak? Ms. LaFear, you've already spoken once, so I'm going to say that you've already had your 3 minutes.
This isn't for me. This is for Delegate Sean Hornbuckle.
Mrs. Hornbuckle,
He's not present, but it is not anonymous. We allowed another person to speak up from somebody else, the coach, Ms. Bates.
she cannot speak on behalf of somebody else.
He's not anonymous. We let Ms. Speak about Ms. Bates. She's identifying that as Delegate Hornbuckle.
I'm sorry?
You're identifying that it's from Delegate Hornbuckle.
I have a text message from him where he makes a statement to the board, yes.
Is that appropriate?
Yes, Madam President. We've identified who it is.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Hornbuckle.
Dear board and whom it may concern, while I don't know all the facts of the incident, the things that I'm hearing concerning students at Huntington East Middle School are troubling, to say the least. Again, while I'm still learning about this matter, as is everyone else, I have full confidence that the board and administration will not only investigate the matter working towards a solution, but to implement proper measures to prevent the alleged behaviors from happening in the future. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to being of any assistance at all, and that's from Delegate Sean Hornbuckle.
I think this concludes the delegation portion of the meeting, so we'll proceed on to the 3000 series, which is contracts, policies, and other items. Is there anything under that section of the meeting that anybody wants to discuss or single out any item? Hearing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the 3000 series.
Make a motion that we approve the 3000 series.
Mrs. Smalley moves.
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Shaw seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's been approved. The 4000 series is approval of financial items. Mr. Rodkin? Nothing? Okay, item, or 5000 series is personnel. I know that is there 3 items on the personnel that we need to go in executive session for?
There's actually 5.
5?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you want to go in executive session first, or you want to do the rest of them? How do you want me to
Well,
do
what I would suggest, if you would, I would suggest that you vote on the entirety of the personnel section without subtracting those 5.
Okay.
And then we can go into executive session regarding those,
Okay.
those 5. And some of them might actually be individual hearings. Is that correct? So if you would permit me, Madam President, I'd like to make a recommendation.
Sure.
For consideration of the board. And I also want to state that on page 19, there is a correction listed under CK 22041. And that's the third from the bottom of page 19.
Yes.
It is a correction from a previous board agenda, but I have another correction. That effective date really needs to be 810 of 22.
Okay.
It should not be 316, it should be 810 of 22 for CK 22041. With
810 22.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
With that being said, Madam President and board members, I recommend approval of the 4,000 series,
5,000.
I'm sorry, the 5,000 series excluding items 5.03, 5.04, 5.05, 5.06, and 5.07.
Okay.
I make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the
Okay.
5,000 series.
Okay. Mr. Smalley moves.
I second that motion.
Mr. Shaw seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, I now need a motion to go in executive session with regard to the 504, 505, 6, and 7.
503.
3.
Yes, 503, 504, 505, and 506, and 507.
Okay, so
Sorry.
quite a few. Okay. So
Madam
I need,
President,
Mr. Shaw moves.
I offer the motion to go in executive session concerning the pre-mentioned items.
Okay.
Second.
And Mr. Shaw moves, Mr. Smalley seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We'll be back shortly.
did she feel like that? Why did that make her mad? Oh. Oh, well.
Are we ready to come back out? I need a motion to come out of executive session.
Offer motion, we come out of executive session.
Mr. Shaw moves, Mrs. Smalley seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Dr. Sachs, do you want to make your recommendations on the ones we just discussed in executive session?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Regarding 5.03, employee discipline of a professional employee, that item is being continued to another board meeting. So I'm not going to be asking for a recommendation at this time.
Okay.
Item 5.04, Madam President, board members, I recommend that the board ratify an unpaid suspension beginning March 28th, 2022, and to terminate the contract of Kenny Graybill.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent's recommendation.
Mrs. Smalley moves.
I second the motion.
Mr. Shaw seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, 5.05.
So can you just say if it passed?
Do what?
For the record, the motion passed?
It passed.
Thank you.
Yes, it
Okay.
did.
Okay. Regarding item 5.05, professional employee suspension with pay. Make sure I get this right. Madam President and board members, I recommend ratifying 3 days of unpaid suspension for Becky Nybert.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. I need a motion.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent's recommendation.
Mrs. Smalley moves.
I second the motion.
Mr. Shaw seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Regarding item 5.06, professional employee suspension with pay, Madam President, board members, I recommend ratifying 3 days of unpaid suspension for Demaro Perry.
You've heard the recommendation.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent's recommendation.
Mrs. Smalley moves.
I second the motion.
Mr. Shaw seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Regarding item 5.07, employee suspension with pay, Madam President and board members, I recommend ratifying the 3 days of unpaid suspension for Dan Gleason.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent's recommendation.
Mrs. Smalley moves.
I second the motion.
Mr. Shaw seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, that concludes all of those. We're moving on to 5.08, approval of any personnel items.
We've already done that, so we're good.
Oh, we're finished?
Yep.
Okay, now we're at approval of special board items. That's 6,000 series. We've already,
There's nothing there.
Okay.
We're good.
okay, 7 is update on current issues. Board may like to go in executive session. Do we have any?
Yes, Madam President.
We do?
Yes,
Yep.
Madam
Okay,
President.
need a motion to go in executive session.
Offer motion, we go in executive session.
Mr. Shaw moves.
Second.
Mrs. Smalley seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're in executive session.
I will be right there. Need to speak. Yep. put it behind there so it wasn't. Hey Carolyn, it's behind the credenza, just so that it wasn't in public view for when we had people in there, so.
Oh, I gotta get my vase. You gotta take that little Viking hat home, dear. To Paul.
Okay.
Mary, did you
I
get a
need a
pen?
motion to come out of executive session.
I make a motion, we come out of executive session.
Second motion?
Mrs. Smalley moves, Mr. Shaw seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn?
Mr. Shaw moves,
Oh, second.
second.
Sorry.
Mrs. Smalley seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
God, I'm absolutely brain dead.